guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
Yo.
And today we're getting into chapter 124, but before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out our community Discord. The link will be in the description below. Appreciate y'all. Dice, it feels like it's been forever since we talked about a chapter, at our normal recording time, because last time we recorded with Polar, was later that night.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, it feels like it's been forever since we talked about Bachi in general. And,
True.
Obviously there was break week. We still had a couple of streams. But yeah, it does feel like a bit of a hiatus.
Feels good to be back.
Yes, sir.
So this chapter, 124, right? Banger chapter. I mean, the glaze for Hokuzono knows no bounds, just like his glaze for Hiroto knows no bounds. And that includes death, because this man's still getting, the glaze. But, I'm all for my dead man glaze in Kagurabachi.
Yeah, I mean, I told you this, right? It's kind of like the stuff I know you like seeing with Ibuki, right? There's the whole, on par with Samura statement. And, Hokuzono just loves his, that dead man glaze, like you say.
Hot dead guys. We still don't know what Ibuki's face looks like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
chopped.
like glaze.
Oh my God.
He's gonna be chopped, yeah. But the Hiroto glaze this chapter is glaze. I mean, we get some, straight up insight on what his position in the Soga clan was. I think there's a lot of ground to cover when it comes to this chapter. For those that have been kind of tapping in or tuning into our prediction streams, we have really kind of gone over everything that kind of happens in this chapter. I think most of us predicted whether it was the Akamura focus stuff, whether it was Kunishige starting to forge the enchanted blades, more conversations with Subaru, conversations between Akamura and Chiaki. It's this chapter kind of takes all that and just kind of packs it into just one nicely compacted or chapter with a huge amount of insight.
Dummy thick chapter.
Dummy thick, yeah. That's a way to put it, yeah, for sure.
The only thing we didn't get was the Kunishige and Chiaki conversation. That seems like that's Kunishige is gonna it's looking like Kunishige is basically gonna force them to go with his plan, and that's how he's gonna talk to Chiaki, instead of maybe them meeting up secretly before they have to give her to the Mikaboshi, which that does kind of make sense. We never were super clued in on the timeline of all these events, in the grand scheme of things. We know roughly when certain things happen, but the way he's fleshing out does make a lot of sense. But I mean, I guess we can start with the beginning of the chapter and go from there, because there is a good bit of discussion to be had. And to start with, we see Akamura as a snot-nosed kid. And one thing I think is funny is the attendant in the back says, "Fight back, you're a boy." I think that's kind of very telling how the Soga just view how men should be, and how most likely on the opposite of that, how women should be. And that's why those clan dynamics are always just toxic.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I think it's great the way that Akamura kind of subverts that traditional role as a man or a male in the household, and that kind of connection he clearly has always had with his sister. I think is just very, very telling, like you say. And when you put it kind of in tandem with that chapter cover page, which I think is beautiful, really, it kind of paints a very solid picture of the type of person that Akamura was. We've gotten the bit of insights about how the war changed them. There was Samura's perspective and that flashback of when they met, and this kind of this intro to the chapter really kind of continues on that that sort of through line in terms of the kind of person that Akamura was. And I think that the nature visuals is just really nicely done, because it just speaks, again, like I said, to the kind of person that Akamura was. But obviously, when you kind of keep in mind the way that Magatsumi kind of flips all of that on its head, and the amount of darkness and destruction that blade brings with the same imagery, I really, like, I'm here for this, this kind of like duality is just peak.
Started off as like the Soga's softest boy turned to Satan's strongest soldier. It really do be like that. And like the chapter cover with him and the butterfly, the flowers, and then we have this asshole Giyu kicking trees down in the very next panel.
Yeah, just spiting Nakamura. Like, Nakamura's such a nature boy, and then this motherfucker's just kicking trees down.
Yeah. Like, this dude, like, I'm telling you, man, if there's, I've always kind of like played on the possibility that maybe Akamura, there's some crazy event that happened. I mean, this was obviously like in the past couple months, that maybe Akamura wiped his own clan out. And for a brief minute, I was entertaining the possibility that Hanan Chiaki was that like moment, or but now that we have kind of a lot more information and see how the story's going, it doesn't necessarily look that way. But I'm hoping he does like clap Giyu, cook his ass. If there's one Soga, it's that Soga.
I agree. That would be a very satisfying moment after.
I don't like his facial hair. I don't like his feet.
I agree. The chopped beards gang in Kagurabachi is getting new members, seems like every month.
Izuru saw that shit and was like, you know what? I want to grow me a ugly beard.
I feel inspired.
Yeah, I mean, Izuru would be the one to sip the tip of Giyu Soga.
I see that. But yeah, obviously a Giyu mad as fuck after seeing Hiroto's corpse. We get the statement that Hiroto was not just the strongest, among the Soga clan, but he was straight up the chief of the clan. So now that role gets passed on to his younger brother Giyu. We get like this little breakdown, which Hokazono loves his little breakdowns when it comes to character. Yeah, right. So yeah, Hiroto at the top. Yeah, go ahead.
No, my bad. You continue.
Yeah, was confirmation as well that Yoshinojo is basically the second, the second in command. Giyu was right there, and then the guys we see a couple of panels later are also shown in that chart. The guys that Akamura just kind of speeds past. So,
and is this the first time that we've ever seen a Kagurabachi character? Like, well, I guess Subaru would be the outlier as well, but a mustache, no beard. Like that one random Soga dude. Like that's how my dad used to look back in the day, bro. Like in high school.
Yeah.
And does Blood think he really about to get the Kurotsuchi sorcery? Like, who's gonna tell him?
That is very interesting, right? Because we talked a bit about this, but like because I'll give you full credit for this. You said that the framing, it seemed like, could potentially be implying, or not implying, right? You kind of just loosely alluded to the idea, because I said that it seems like Kurotsuchi kind of works like the gift of prophecy, where if the current wielder is taken out, it just kind of is passed on to a living member. In Chiaki, it happened to a person of a minor branch, right? But he seems pretty convinced that he's going to be the one to inherit it. And you talked about like entertaining the possibility of Akamura potentially inheriting it, which again, you weren't exactly predicting, but just more so like a loose theory.
Are you giving me credit or not, Dice? Don't be half in, half out on me.
Well, I mean, I'm giving you credit, but like I also don't want you to catch shit for like if it isn't.
Like, I know what you're saying. No, and like the one interesting thing I think that separates like Kurotsuchi from the prophecy ability would be that the Kurotsuchi has prerequisites. You have to have like a physically strong body, like I forget exactly the phrasing of it, but they basically have to hit the peak of the physical ability with their body and the sword.
Mhm.
Now, Akamura has reached such illustrious heights, and that is the exact wording they use
Yes.
in talking about his growth these past 2 years since Chiaki awakened the prophecy. So and the only reason why she awakened the prophecy was because there was no females to pass that on to in the main branch. That's
That
why
is a
a
good
lesser,
point.
a lesser branch, it would trickle down to like a lesser branch family. But now
I don't remember. I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't remember. Do we know that for sure, or is that just kind of like because it is a very logical assumption? But I don't remember right now if we got confirmation that, because I know she obviously didn't give birth to an heir, but I wonder if there was like another Soga.
I think Ichiki bringing up that there was another female baby born 6 months ago is kind of points to that. That's what I think.
Good point.
Kind of
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the Kurotsuchi, there's prerequisites. Now, maybe Giyu, he does care, about the sword, his body, like he actually has done the work. Then it's going to be really interesting if, him and Nakamura are both candidates for the Kurotsuchi. Will it go to the main branch because he is from the main branch, or will it automatically go to the best suited for the Kurotsuchi ability? I don't know if maybe we won't even get that. It's just a theory now. Maybe neither of them will get it. But it is something to kind of keep an eye on, because I do think the way they talk about Akamura this chapter, these guys, they don't care to it don't seem like they would kind of know how strong Akamura is at this point, because there's never been a reason for Akamura to really show it. But to that other guy, that the one that was said he couldn't kill the Giyu and them, that guy that was sparring with Akamura in 116, that he would be really the only one that knows most likely how strong Akamura is, unless he told them, but we don't get none of that because they're surprised.
Yeah.
And but they're saying he could have mistook him for Hiroto.
Yeah, again, the dead man glaze is crazy, but
Yeah,
Giyu wasn't tripping.
Yeah, Giyu's what? And Giyu really was just pretty stoic in the moment. So
yeah,
it's going. I do hope we get to see them clash.
Yeah, that whole moment I think is really well done. Again, I thought of Mama Soga kind of crying, pleading for that dude to kill Giyu, which is
he's like, look, I ain't got it like that. You're literally telling me to go fight King Von.
Yeah, and then the next panel we get of Giyu, he just got hella aura. He's hitting that Itsur Shirikai pose. Obviously we see kind of where his head is at. He will restore the Soga clan. As chief of the Soga clan, he strongly supported handing Chiaki over, which obviously is why the mom is in the way that she is. And Akamura pulling up, I thought was masterfully done. He's got aura himself. He's got that Azami one-eyed aura. And the way he just kind of speeds past those guys and cuts Giyu's pipe pause, I thought was good shit. And like you say, the Hiroto glaze and the Akamura glaze, just comparing him to Hiroto, it just, we were calling, and you specifically had started calling Hiroto the previous Sword Saint, and it doesn't look like it's far from the truth,
The original Sword Saint, Hiroto Soga, about to get it tatted on my neck.
Yeah.
And that meme is did he just cut the panel? Did he just cut the pipe? This is one of those. And it's so funny because it's not even that you hear the shing of him unsheathing the sword. The guy turns his head and going, hey, and the pipe's already cut.
Yeah,
the
and
paneling
Akamura's
there
already
is
there.
so fire. The way Hokuzono depicts these moments of speed is he always uses these smaller panels interchanging to like the actual moment and things like that. Really well done. And Akamura's just like a demon looking at him face to face. And that's when we get the we alluded to it earlier, or you did, about how this chapter kind of shows who Hiroto was. That even someone like Akamura, instead of just like denouncing the Soga clan or saying they're all like this, like he literally was like Master Hiroto would have chosen differently. He still respects and this is something that we talked about, that like you mentioned that he still like respects Hiroto for like being the clan head and moving a certain way. And of course Giyu's response was like, yeah, I mean, he would have fought and died. I mean, that's what happened. But like this guy, he's gonna, because what was it? They say that earlier on, as chief of the Soga clan, he strongly supported handing Chiaki over to the Mikoboshi. And he just takes it. This guy just comes off to me as like he's just going to the easiest answer to kind of also bring back the prophecy to the Soga clan. Obviously, it doesn't help that Chiaki, made the decision herself to be okay with it and all that. So he can kind of hide behind that.
Yeah, I mean, and he does, right? Yeah. What's the statement? Like he says, your sister,
her resolve, or something like that.
Yeah, do not undermine that resolve. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really great stuff, and like you said, it does look like Hiroto was just different, and this is kind of like the first look that we're getting of how Akamura interacts with the rest, or at least in this case, part of the Soga clan. That was kind of like a big reason why I wasn't so sure that he would just be so willing to quickly slaughter everybody, which I will say he still might, like after the work, he might literally come back with a vengeance. I'm still not completely against the idea of him wiping out the Mikoboshi and the Soga clan, to say like, just to hell with it all. So I still think that could very much work. Like he spared them once. You and me were kind of playing like, entertaining of the fact of who would win in this fight right now. Like if they went at it right now, Akamura and Giyu. And like at first I thought like Giyu, because just, he has that extra edge in terms of age and experience, but you managed to convince me of, Akamura's already there, and like, yeah, so it would be interesting if he already spared them once and then just comes back a few months later and, gets that job done. But
because I mean, they say like the 5 strongest Soga protect the princess, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the clan head, he's got too much shit to do. So we know Hiroto wasn't like, her guard, or presumably, we don't know shit, to be honest. But presumably, Hiroto, as the clan head, that is kind of, he's above that type of thing. But there's I think it's fair to argue that maybe Yoshinojo, Giyu, and 3 other Soga could have been, her guard, or at least Yoshinojo or Giyu. Maybe one of them was the commander of the Princess Soga's guard. And we've already heard in 116 that, the guy says Akamura's already like equal to the captain. So, it's crazy to think the 16-year-old little weak ass Akamura, is like, could be equal to Yoshinojo already.
Yeah, I mean, and like the whole Chiaki's, the top 5 Soga being Chiaki's bodyguards thing is so kind of, because I agree with you. You would think that like, that's like being a bodyguard is beneath being head. But also he pulled up to Hiroshima, and like, yeah, that was kind of like originally a treaty talk, but he didn't pull up as like representation of a treaty. Like he pulled up as a combatant.
I think that's because they knew the Mikoboshi were going to be there. He's like, well, let me sink them again.
That's crazy, by the way. That is.
Well, that's how the Soga, and that's not a Tiberius quote. That's a Soga clan quote.
Okay. No, yeah, I definitely get that. I'm just saying there is still kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised, even though I don't necessarily think is the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if, because the princess is revered or just kind of just has that kind of status above all, if in the case of Hiroto, maybe it's not the case with usually with, because I wouldn't see somebody like Giyu necessarily being a bodyguard to the Soga princess. I mean, potentially a main branch one, maybe. But I guess I'm just saying that I do think there is still some room for doubt that the 5 commanders were literally just as we see in that chart, straight up: Hiroto, Yoshinojo, Giyu, and the two other
Yeah, those other guys might as well not have a face. They are so unimportant.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but like right now, if that's them, they're not even doing their job, right? Because right now they're all with Giyu. So it's like, maybe it's just because they're getting ready to hand over Chiaki, but like they're not even with Chiaki, you know what I'm saying? So
they don't want to be in the same room with that weirdo little brother.
Yeah, the whole thing is and speaking about weirdo little brother, right? The fact that guy that sparred with Akamura acknowledges how it's all because he's driven for that, like, because he's so devoted to his sister, right? It's what's kind of led him to reach those heights that you talked about, and the reason why he saw that he could equal Hiroto, Yoshinojo, and Giyu. And there's that, that moment between the two, how nothing has changed. It's still Chiaki, the one that's protecting him because of the sacrifice she's taking on. So it's good stuff.
Even though I love that things haven't changed one bit, even though I took up the sword to protect you.
Yeah,
I think that's very... I mean, there's going to be people that have an issue with all this. I think this does wonders for like Akamura's character, obviously, and I think that's why people have an issue for like Chiaki's like whole handling. But
yeah,
this chapter has done like really strong work for Akamura in a very short time, because this ain't the full chapter has been devoted to Akamura, and where we get this like inner monologue, these like conflicting ideas. It's literally, we just get the Akamura's a kid, and then the pull up on them. There's not much like dialogue with Akamura or inner monologue, but there's just so much substance for his character. It's pretty well done, and by Hokuzono to be able to achieve something like that, especially for a character that has have so much like build up, so much like gravitas, and like this final villain candidate, or however you feel, but I mean, it's looking like he is going to be the final villain or close to it. That he's like such an imposing threat, but he can still deliver a chapter like this with not much like, we don't get much like inner thoughts of him, like and I'm sure something like that will come later, but like debating certain things, or like maybe a problematic thought encroaches in his head, like even after this moment. Instead, we get like him just being sad that he can't protect Chiaki. I think Hokuzono did a really, really good job.
Yeah, no, 100% agree, and yeah, I think a lot of the, talking specifically about the people that are upset, in terms of like the Chiaki stuff, and I think in relation to Akamura, I think it's just because for some reason, and for a variety of reasons, I was just saying, and among that is like the whole fridging allegations, which I don't necessarily like to entertain, because I really do think it's not really an argument at this point. I can see where those people are coming from. I just disagree at the moment, and it's just looking like more and more to me that when we talk about what changed Akamura and that lesson that he got during the war, it is just looking more and more like it's pretty clearly related to Chiaki. Whether you think she's dead, or you think there's this chance that she still might be alive, whatever it was that happened. Obviously, just in combination with the war itself, I'm not undermining the impact of because we see how he looks when he cuts down people in that flashback of Samura. But I'm just saying that the Chiaki factor and clearly with the way he feels about her, it being his whole motivation, it's almost certainly, it's almost certain
for
that
sure.
she was the one
And
relating to this lesson.
I would even go as far as to say I think Chihiro is the reminder of that lesson. It's like
That's a good
that
point,
lesson screaming back at him of like why he did what he did or why he feels how he feels. It's like your existence is what, reminds me of what I need to do and why I need to do what I do, and it's like obviously he did try to kill him, but just saying that, like, seeing him like, now grown in that moment, it's not about like needing, like, he doesn't need Chihiro to like still exist for him to feel that way. It's just the fact of him, as a baby and existing, like that was like, ringing in, those bells ringing in his head, like do what he got to do, malediction. But it's always male diction. It's never female diction.
But to that Chihiro point, it's the whole other layer to it is that like Chihiro stands to oppose him. Yeah.
And
so it's
people who do wrong don't see themselves as doing wrong a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's
That's definitely the case with Akamura for 100%. Yeah.
It's a moral conundrum.
It's all justified in his eyes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I wonder how Hiroto feels about that.
It's all about how Hiroto feels now. Yeah, I agree. What a Chad, right? This Hiroto guy.
Speaking of Chad, like, shout out to Subaru for calling bullshit on their alternative plan that they came up with, and shout out to Hasumi.
Yeah, shout out to Hasumi especially. Like, I totally agree with you, which, by the way, that conversation between Kunishige and Subaru is, again, more good stuff. Like I said, this chapter covers so much, and like, to me, none of it really flies under the radar because everything kind of has its moment to kind of shine in the chapter. And that conversation with Subaru I really like because he's not just kind of glazing the Enchanted Blade project. Like, he's very well aware that it's a gamble, but like you said, at the same time, it's the lesser of two evils, right? He looks at the other alternative and it's, trash.
And
earlier,
the reason why Kunishige is doing it too, like that at the very end.
Good shout. Yeah, good shout. Yeah, that is goated stuff from
He's
Subaru.
a man moving of pure conviction to like almost the deepest like root of it, like his heart. He's got his full heart in what he's saying. And that's how he knows, like, he believes in what he can do. And by the way, we know Subaru had to pay for his train ticket because we know Kunishige didn't pay for that.
Yeah. I mean, shit, he might have had to pay for both, unless that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I was like, everywhere you see Subaru and Kunishige, Subaru's paying.
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, thank God he can cook, right? Because if not,
facts.
I was gonna say, it is, like you said earlier in this conversation, it is interesting that we completely skip over the Chiaki meeting Kunishige, potentially because it just hasn't happened yet, which you talked about. But a part of me is also wondering, and maybe I'm just being dumb here, if it happened. Obviously, I didn't really keep. Obviously, we get some dates here, but I haven't really kept track of the dates from last chapter and exactly how many days have passed. But I'm just wondering if they already talked, if Chiaki and Kunishige already talked, and we're gonna get insight on that conversation as a flashback. Because it would be, because we get that panel of like Kunishige staring down after Subaru talks about the alternative being garbage before we see the letter in his hand, and part of it makes me feel that they kind of already talked, and we're later gonna see what they talked about, which is gonna give us a bit more insight to like why Kunishige. Obviously, we know why he's so determined, but just how potentially that conversation, especially if Chiaki shot down any other idea of them running away, or like she just told them like, look, I'm doing this, I just wanted to see you. It was just kind of like a reminder to Kunishige of like what he's about to lose, which just kind of continues to spark, this whole thing. And obviously Hasumi, the goat, gets Shiba to steal the Datsensegi. Happy you signed that apology form, by the way. But like, yeah, I'm just wondering if that conversation already took place and just kind of sets off this chain of events.
March 21st is when they had their meeting. The beginning of last chapter. That was March 21st. Then March 24th is when it says the Enchanted Blade plan was rejected. The Sorcery Bureau conditionally accepts the Mikaboshi's demands. They agree to surrender Princess Chiaki Soka. That was on the 24th, and everything that happens in this chapter is the 26th right? And the 27th. Yeah, the 26th is when they steal the Datanseki.
Yes.
And the 27th is when the forging starts. Let him forge.
The forge was lit with flames. Banger way to end the chapter, by the way. We'll talk about it more in a bit. But so it's been a couple of days between the ending of last chapter and the dates that we get here. I wouldn't be surprised if they met already. And it's what I'm saying, like that conversation just kind of adds more fire, within Kunishige to just get this done. Because, the way they're moving, obviously at some point they must have all gotten on the same page in terms of like Hasumi, Shiba, Hasumi and Subaru meeting potentially. Like I feel like there's some planning behind the curtain that we didn't necessarily see. But either way, man, Hasumi with the fucking clutch play, man. I gotta say, just drawing it up, just goated stuff. Yeah, man. This is my goat.
Part of me, I don't think they met yet. Like, I don't think. I mean, obviously, I could be wrong. Especially with a character like Shiba existing and being able to teleport, that does make like meetings happen a lot, quicker than. It's not just about, we have to travel there, and then, there's not enough time to travel from there to Subaru's place. The motherfucker can just teleport and shit. Yeah. But I think Hokuzono is going to I don't think he would withhold that from us. And I mean, who knows? Not. So I think that, I think that Kunishige, it's going to take time to forge the first sword. So I think it's just going to take. He just realizes that he has to act now. If he's going to change their minds and to not hand her over, it's got to happen now. He has to start crafting it now, because it'll be too late, if he tries to talk to her. And then, so maybe that's my line of thinking, that he's just going to get straight to fortune. And by the way, god damn, Shiba is strong as hell.
Yeah, like, lifting that shit.
Yeah, he just holding that bit like it's a briefcase.
Yeah, I mean, he can manipulate its weight, potentially, with his sorcery. So that shit probably weighs like...
Yeah, I mean, this dude...
Yeah, I guess the way I was seeing it, like... Because, I did say, like, maybe the conversation already took place, but I definitely agree where it's like, we're definitely going to see it. So I was just thinking, I could definitely see a scenario, like, we see next chapter starts... which probably isn't going to go down like this, but just something along these lines. Chihiro's forging, and as he's forging, we kind of get to see he's reflecting on that conversation with Chiaki, and then that's when we get the whole conversation as he's forging, and just seeing, again, how that determination directly flows from that conversation into his forging of the enchanted blades. So yeah, I could see a situation where Hokuzono kind of lays it out in that sequence.
They killed Hasumi, right?
They killed. Well, no, he resigns, and he's not in present day.
He resigned for what he did. Like, cause think about it.
Oh yeah,
they would kill that man for that.
Yeah, he's
you fucked
again.
Us,
he's
buddy.
The goat, man. But he's really like he's the fucking goat, bro. Cause he just
that's a sacrifice. He sacrificed himself to put the best pieces in play for the sake of his country.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, he got more stones than anybody we've seen in all of...
Bigger stones than Datanseki.
Yeah.
Can we have a moment of silence for Hasumi? Just a brief moment of silence.
Yeah.
All right.
Well deserved, Hasumi. I don't know if you're dead or not, but...
Yeah, we don't... It's looking like he is, but watch him just show up again next chapter.
Yeah, I told you we might just never see him. I hope we do, and I think we will. Honestly, like if I'm being serious and genuine, I do think we'll see him at least at some point again. I told you he was giving me like kind of Nick Fury vibes. But yeah, he's definitely going to jail at the very least if he's not just straight up.
You going to jail now?
But I hope we get to see him again, man. He's not. He doesn't get none of the credit, probably. Obviously in present day,
it's literally all him, really.
And it's all him, which is crazy, right? Like, man.
Like Shiba could have stole it, but look at Shiba's expression on his face. Like Shiba doesn't say a word.
Yeah, man.
He knows like Shiba's probably like, I was gonna steal this shit no matter what anyways, but I feel bad like because you just giving it now, like you didn't try to fight us on it or nothing. Like
the fact that he says I'm starting to act like you, Hasumi to Shiba. Oh man.
So he's disgusted. He's like, ugh.
No, I thought it was really really good stuff. I'm telling you, there's a lot of like individual moments in this chapter that like, man, it's just like what I'm here for, honestly. So many little character moments from so many different people, from Giyu, Akamura, Chiaki, Hasumi, Shiba, Subaru, Kunishige. Like everybody just kind of has their moment this chapter. And Hiroto literally from the grave. Insane, man. Like I don't think even Ibuki, obviously, he got the Samura statement, but not even Ibuki. I told you this is the type of glaze you wish Ibuki was getting.
Ibuki will get his glaze.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
And he'll get more.
His anti-feats, go against.
What anti-feats? The fact that he's just dead? Being dead isn't an anti-feat.
No, I'm trolling. I mean, just the fact that he wasn't in shape to fight Hokuto. But we're not talking about that now.
Leave my man alone. He was just tired from, dating baddies for, all day and night, and he was just worn out. That's all.
I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not trying to go at Ibuki today.
Yeah. I'm not trying to defend Ibuki too much because I know that just breeds even more Ibuki slander in the comments and in chat for the live streams. But finally, we already kind of brought it up, but like the fact that, Kunishige, at least, even though Kunishige is about to put his Dewey on, about to put the do-rag on for Forge, and he's like, you sure it's cool? He's like, I don't give a fuck about making enemies, but you're a national treasure. That's something you probably should have said before y'all got on the train, but hey.
He knew what he was doing. He waited till this moment. He knew.
Yeah, he's already hitting the fucking first strike of the sword, and he's
like, yo, you sure that's cool?
Blood. But he's like, this is for the woman you love, right? Subaru and Hasumi, man.
Subaru put on the Rokuhira eyes for a minute.
Yeah, boy. Look at him. And I like Kunishige's face is just like, yeah. And he locks in.
I love it. They're not even trying to bullshit each other. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I say the Forge was lit with flames, as you said earlier. Like, oof, what a way to end it.
So tough.
And I guess now the only thing, we'll see if my theory about, because which sword was crafted first, we'll find out. I don't know if we'll find out next chapter. Maybe we might cut to the reaction to the state of the sorcery burrow since the Datanseki has gone missing, and we might see the Mikaboshi's reaction to that, but it'll be interesting to see where Hokuzono chooses to take next chapter.
Yeah, I second that, because I told you I feel like this is the first chapter where I feel like in terms of pace and the amount of events that it covers, it feels like, to me at least, this has been the fastest paced chapter in the flashback so far. And I just wonder if that's kind of like an indication of how Hokuzono is going to tackle the next couple of chapters as we get closer and closer to the Seitei War. And I mean, at this point, it really just feels like we're at the Seitei War's doorstep, really. Not really counting the Hiroshima or the battle on Hiroshima as the beginning of the war, which in part it really is. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to how fast Hokuzono is now going to go in terms of getting into the sword bearers, the relationship between the sword bearers and Kunishige. Again, we know
Guardians. The Mikaboshi Guardians. I can't wait to see that reveal.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, because I do wonder if at any point, which I know a lot of people would like, and it's kind of just harder really to predict. But maybe just to kind of not to really change the pace too much. I wonder if Hokuzono's now going to give us a few chapters of Mikaboshi POV, and maybe that's how we get a lot of like the Guardian characterization. So that's kind of like what is it, like a wild card pick in terms of, I feel like, something that Hokuzono could pull out of his sleeve. But yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just
Time
with
will
you.
Tell.
Yeah.
And
because again,
we do
the
have a
Enchanted
chapter
Blades,
next week too.
Yes, we should. I was just gonna say the
Should.
Enchanted Blades don't make an appearance until the end of the war, as we all know. So it's, we still got to get through the bulk of the war. So yeah. But yeah, I do hope Hokuzono's in good health, and that we, continue to get chapters on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I'm sure he got the rest he needed, hopefully. I mean, if he needs to take another week, whatever he needs. As much as I would love to be here every Sunday recording this, and I do love it, that man, is a human being on the other end of it. So, his health is the priority.
Yeah. Ty, before we get out of here, I just remembered something, and, we're getting closer. Obviously, it's still a ways to go, but we're getting closer to the anime releasing, which like we've talked about and said before, we're going to be covering. And as we get closer and closer, we're getting new information, bits of promo are dropping about the anime. So we're going to actually have to start, covering some of these things in these episodes until the anime drops. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Chihiro character design or first look that we got.
I mean, it looks good. I have no issues with it. I don't know if anyone, I was... You remember the thing I told you about what I said he looked like?
Yeah. We're not saying it. We're not saying it on air.
No, it wasn't a bad thing or anything like that.
No,
it was just like
it was
funny. But it looks just real smooth. Like
Agreed.
I personally am not a snob for like the transition from manga to anime and it being like 1-to-1, unless it's like brutal. Like if it's just clear as day a problem, obviously, I'll say something. But like I haven't seen anything that makes me worried. I haven't seen anything that like is cause for concern. It seems like the handling of the production, just looks good. I think it's gonna be a solid adaptation.
Yeah, I agree. And the Chihiro design just looks clean. I mean, it's not like a lot what we get to look at, but it's just a character visual.
To be fair, Hokuzono, like, don't get me wrong, his I'm waiting to see how they make Samura look. Like when they first show him at the end of the Sojo arc, they have that kind of like, his design's a little different. I'm waiting to see if they use like Samura's, like, because that could be like just an image of how Samura was in the war. And
I like that design actually. I think that's kind of low key the best Samura design.
So I'm wondering if like that's gonna like, if they're gonna like adapt how that panel has it, or was that just maybe a change in like Hokuzono and himself. There's like little things like that we won't know until it actually happens in the anime. But
I'm really hoping that was just Prime Samura. I'm not gonna lie. If Prime Samura was looking like that, ooh.
Okay, calm down. Dice's seat's moist over there, y'all.
It's crazy when I'm glazing Samura and his appearance of all things, right?
Right? I never thought I'd see a day.
No, but I thought the Chihiro character visual is nice. It looks clean as hell. I think obviously pretty on point with what we see from the manga. Every time that we're seeing like bits of Kagurabachi animated, it's just surreal. And obviously, we get closer and closer. I think the goldfish looks cool as well. And I just can't wait, man. I just can't wait.
Yeah, and I already edited the New York Knicks championship shirt on that the anime image of Chihiro under his jacket.
Okay.
Shout out to the Knicks. That's my team. Love the Knicks. Champions.
How is it now?
Oh, since the 90s.
Okay,
Vanessa's first gift to me, we got together in October 2012. Yes, I am an old head. And December 2012, you know, she got me a Knicks snapback and, you know, amongst other things. Love the Knicks.
Well, I'm legit a Spurs fans, but congratulations.
Well, eat
Shout
shit,
out.
Dice. You and Wemby. That weak need bitch. I'm just playing.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, right? But
So
yeah.
how's it feel to blow a lead?
I mean, that's what
Like
they've been
so
doing this
many
whole
times.
series.
I'm about to say
man.
so many times, like consistently. If there's one thing, the Spurs are consistent as hell. Consistently blowing leads.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be back.
The Spurs blow boat people.
Shout out the Knicks, man.
Okay, that's all I need to hear from you.
Anything
Alright,
else?
No, I think that'll do it for me.
Yeah, same. Good talk. Good chapter. Hope to be here next week, and like I said, hope Hogazono stays in good health.
Oh, of course, that's the priority. You know, and if we do have a chapter next week, which I'm thinking we
Hopefully we
most
should.
likely will, you know, but
We
we'll
should.
catch y'all here. We'll have most likely there will be a midweek prediction stream. Stay tuned for any information on that. And I think that'll do it for us. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.